Hi, welcome to another program. This week we would like to talk about the war between Russia and Ukraine and the effects of this war in the regional area, such as the Central Asia and near to Europe and Middle East, and also what lessons should Turkey take it out of it. So let's start. The war between Ukraine and Russia, it's almost finished. How can I say? 1.5 years, and there is no real achievement for both sides. The Donbass has already been again. I mean, it's still under the control of the Russians, but what will happen is a big question. Right? There's some part of the, let's say, the northern part of the Black Sea area, Ukrainian Black Sea area, is under the control of the Russia. But however, it is for sure that Ukrainians have also some gain there. So in the long run, where this war might turn to is a big question mark. Everybody in the first days of 2022 February thought that this war would end in a couple of weeks because of the Soviet regime experience and tactical advantages. Everybody thinks that the Russian army is strong as it was, but it turned out, and surprisingly, it wasn't true. They have lost the logistic supply or the experience and the maneuverability. The equipments, vehicles are old, and they need a lot of energy and maintenance. And really and surprisingly, the elite part of Russian army is not as it was before. That's another thing. So what does it mean? I mean, the war is lasting and it's going to take some time to finish it. Why? Because there are some, how can I say, some things that we have to understand from both sides. Now, Russia is trying to push the grain agreement so that it will push the African countries, which is going to maybe make some pressure on the Europeans and also Americans in order to have some gains from Ukraine's. First, Russia is doing this and they are using it. And they are saying that we need the money to our bank because their economy is going back badly. Sorry. Second, Russia is controlling the Donbass and let's say the southern part of the Ukrainian border to Black Sea to some level, especially about Crimea. But we know that the Ukrainians are making some gains over there, and there. The Ukrainian generals in the last week were mentioning that they need the F-16s in order to have a superiority on air so that their gains on land can be protected. And they are right about this. I mean, the Americans so far are giving surface-to-air missiles, but where the planes are flying on the, I will say, not very high, low altitude, and that only protects the more Russian troops to advance to the inner side of or into the mainland of, let's say, Ukraine. And but however, unless they have air superiority in Ukraine, the land forces cannot make more advanced progress in the land, so they cannot take back the northern part of the southern part of the Ukrainian, including Donbass on their east. So what is happening is Ukraine is asking F-16s and the training of the F-16 pilots to be ended, even though they know the English very well, they have flight experience. The Americans keep telling that they need more and more advanced training. Because the Americans are hoping that they can sit a settlement agreement between Ukraine and also Russia. However, really, they do not want for it. They do not seek for it in deep their heart. They want this war in this progress lasting for, if possible, months, years, so that both countries are going to be losing power. However, Ukraine can always be supported because they have Europe in their back, America in their back, but Russia will be weakened and nobody will help them. And which in the long term is going to help them to focus on China so that Russia cannot back, let's say, China, because then Russians will need the Eastern or the European or the Western help, right? And so that's the problem. That's what Americans are doing. So really, they do not seek for the settlement or a peace, let's say, in that ongoing war. They really want this war lasting as much as possible. From Ukrainian part, they cannot accept Donbass because they do not know that if there will be a Russian assault there, in military base there in future or now, even not now, maybe in future. So they will not agree anything like Donbass settlement or tied to Russia, and that makes very vulnerable at this moment. I do not believe that before this new year there will be a peace in the air. But this war cannot, at this moment, cannot be, let's say, lasted for a long time from both sides. However, there is no honorable way or both mutual way for both countries to end this at the moment. There is none. The losses Ukrainians keeps them or compels them to fight, and the gains that the Russians have cannot be granted by Ukraine, cannot be then it cannot be a reason for a settlement. So unless this is the case, this war is going to last for the moment. And the thing is that as much as it lasts, US Western countries, including Europe and the United States, will help Ukraine, but it will weaken the Russians. So we will see what will happen in future. That's the story from, let's say, both sides. I do not believe that in half a year or 1 year or 2 years even, there might be a peace. The Russian economy is very tight with the Central Asia countries, the ex-satellites of Soviet regime, like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and even Azerbaijan to some level. And last week the Russian ruble gained against dollars, which is a problem. It was around 105, 106 ruble, $1, and it dropped to 90, 93, 94, around this level. And immediately in this region, all the national currencies have lost weight against dollars. So the Kazakh tenge, the Kyrgyz som and Uzbek som immediately dropped down by 5%, to 6-7%, but to 5% in general, which shows that unless the Russian economy is strong, these countries will be affected deeply. And after the war, it's for sure that the Russian economy is going to swing from left to right, up to down. There will be a crisis for sure, and these countries will be affected. So it is advantage for these countries that Russia will seek for a settlement soon, because they have a big contracts with Russian companies and also business agreements. But I do not believe that Russia will do this settlement with Ukraine government. So at this moment, it's ongoing. So what's the lesson for Turkey then? Turkey is under Erdogan regime. It has two major problems. One, they are dreaming. They are living in not a real world when it comes to foreign relations. They try to dictate whatever they want, but like a foreign, and I mean how the foreign relations and military goes hand to hand, they cannot understand this. And unless the Turkey has a couple of ability, they cannot follow their desires. Now, Turkey wants to dominate the Mediterranean Sea, the Aegean Sea, even the Black Sea, and including the Middle East, Central Asia, and also up until to Suez Channel and other things. They need to have a strong military. We do not have it yet, including a very strong Navy and Air Force. We do not have it yet. For that, you have to have a strong economy, and Turkish lira is dropping, it's just dropping, whether falling down, it's just crashing down each day. Now, and in 2006, the Turkish lira was 1 lira, $1 was around a million Turkish lira, we called all Turkish lira. And somehow they cleaned up, or they raised these 6 zeros, and it makes almost 1 to 1. What has happened is it was good for a couple of periods, like a couple of years, I would say, because at that time, as you might remember, America was printing money. So it was, cash is coming into the country, it was stable. It was even 1 lira, I saw it, I found that was 1.04 lira. It's almost the same, like a euro, the relation between euro and the dollar. It was really strong, it was really nice, blah, blah, blah. But then Erdogan started to leaning on its very ideological I will say, beliefs. And his religious beliefs dictate him to not to use inflation and or interest. According to Quran, interest is okay. It's not agreed upon, and therefore the banks and the people should not use it. There's another way of using as the interest, like sharing the profit and or the loss, and but interest is against it. So what he has done, and there is a relation between interest and inflation. So he just oversee the relation, and he manipulate the economy by putting his finger, and he dropped or he controlled the interest by the statements or by the government force. And because of that, from 2006 up until today, it's now $1 is around 27, I think, lira, around as of today, 27 Turkish lira. It's like 27 times it increased from 2006 to 20, let's say, or 18 years, 18 to 17 years. So we delete 6 zeros, but 1 zero has been added. So we have to understand, without a strong economy, you cannot do a strong military. Without a strong military, you cannot keep up what your dreams or and your ambitions are. You cannot have an influence or a foothold to control the area or to even more make progress about it. And in order to do something else, you have to have ability to, I will say, either manufacture or construct the equipments, the technology that you needed for your advancement. And we see it in like Russia. Russia cannot do this because about an X, let's say, for almost in each industry, after a limit, they have limitations, right? Big capacity of the equipments, they cannot do it for their gas and or oil projects, right? And computers, car spare, the car spare parts, I don't know, other advanced equipment. No, they can't. They can't. So they need investments. They need European Western technology to keep up, other things. So they cannot do that. If Turkey wants to, I will say, achieve its own, I will say, ambition, the Turkish companies or the private sector should have the ability at most to manufacture and construct these kind of technology. As of now, we do not have it. So Turkey should understand this. Dreams are dreams and reality is reality, and there's a difference between that. And if Erdogan administration wants to pursue its ambitions, they have to be realistic. You cannot talk and do at the same time unless you have the necessary support, advanced technology advancement, and the economy behind you. That's what I will say Turkey should understand from this Russia advancement in Ukraine. So if you like this video, please, there's a like button underneath, and press on it and share your thoughts with me. Have a fantastic day. Bye.